just 27 days to go before the 2023 Rugby World Cup gets underway in France. The Springboks are out to defend the crown they won in Japan 4 years ago. And Jacques Nienaber's 33-man squad is missing three key players, Lukhanyo M, Handré Pollard and Lood de Jager, and they missed out due to injury. M and Pollard are on standby though, and the world champions will have a send-off, or are having the send-off at OR Tambo International Airport, where we locate eNCA sports reporter Ntsako Mkhari. Ntsako, thanks so much for joining us. I mean, earlier on there was festivities, and we know how to enjoy ourselves as South Africans and unite, especially amongst when it comes to key sporting activities. Just speak to us about the gees, the spirit there, and what's going on.
Cindy, thank you so much. And you're very, very right. As South Africans, we know how to have a good time, and that is what is happening here at the OR Tambo International Airport this afternoon. Earlier in the week, this place actually welcomed Banyana in drips and drabs, also just giving them a great welcome. So it's been a great time to be at the OR Tambo International Airport. But today we are here to send off the Springboks, the defending champion Springboks, who won that title 4 years ago. They are looking to make history and do what has never been done before. Win it 4 times and also retain that title. And when you just look around here, man, it's just South Africans from all walks of life. The Springboks synonymous with doing this and bringing South Africans together. I'm going to ask my cameraman Kamu to just pan around and show you the surroundings that are happening here. Children, young, from the old, also coming through to bid the Springboks farewell. The Springboks have actually spent most of their time here in this week as they build up to leave for France. But before that, they will have the small matter of playing against Wales as well as the All Blacks in true warm-up matches. Coach Jacques Nienaber has already named his 33-man squad that will do battle. And like you said earlier, Cindy, Lood de Jager is missing from that squad. Lukhanyo M is missing from that squad, and so is Handré Pollard. But the Boks also synonymous for their depth. The likes of Jan Klein have come in and will try to fill in those gaps that have been left by those 3 men. We are waiting for the Springboks to come out. They haven't come out yet, so they will be on stage, and this will rather be the last time that South Africans can see them in South Africa before they go out to defend their world title. It's been festivities aplenty here. PJ Powers was on stage earlier on. The legendary Mkhari was also on stage performing a new song called Sister Bokina, as you know, taken from that legendary song Sister Bettina. But Sister Bokina is specifically for the Springboks as they go out to defend their world title. As you can see, also big fans out in here, as well as Bota, as well as other synonymous fans, Cindy.
Ntsako, really, I mean, we can feel it here in the studio, electrifying moment there as South Africa sends off Amaboka to the World Cup. But of course, it's not a time to be complacent for the team, especially if you're a defending champion. You want to retain that pole position.
Yeah, and this is very, very true. And the support from the South Africans will also just be very, very important for this team. They've always spoken about how the Springboks, or the South African fans, will be the 16th men on that pitch. And this is exactly what you're seeing from all walks of life, just coming out and saying, South Africa, Springboks, Siya Kolisi, Jacques Nienaber, go out there and do it again. I remember the scenes when they came back in 2019 to this very airport after winning that World Cup. Goosebump stuff all around. I can feel it again. I can feel those goosebumps once again. And hopefully when the Springboks come out and see what they do to this country, they'll also see what it means to these guys. And as you can see here, these are some of the dignitaries and these are some of the family members of the team walking in and to take their seats. I see the mother of Hoka Bonyimbo Nambi walking past there. You can see some of the partners of the players just walking past. So in no no time, Cindy, we should be able to see the players, and the players will also just be able to see the support that they have going into France in 27 days. The Springboks' first match will be up against Scotland on the 10th of September. They are in Pool B alongside Ireland, alongside Scotland, alongside Romania, as well as Tonga in that Pool B.
But nonetheless, a formidable team, as you're saying, not new to the silverware of being world champions. So the Springboks going in there strong, but obviously aware that this is not a matter to take lightly. They need to bring in the A game, notwithstanding the injuries that you had mentioned as well. How is the team looking in terms of strength? And perhaps you can even, from a tactical point of view, before we throw ahead, we already won the World Cup as South Africans, just judging by the numbers that are out there, but of course it still has to play out on the pitch.
Yeah, and you know, when you speak of strength and depth, I mean, only 12 players from this 33 haven't played in a World Cup, but all 12 of those players are in the squad because they've set the world alight. I think of a Keenan Moody, Cindy, when we won the World Cup in 2019, was in high school. He only turns 20 the week after the final of the World Cup. Can you imagine what that will mean for him to win the World Cup before turning 20? And also just in terms of the depth and the length of his career and how long he will be able to play for. You know, when you also just speak of depth, you can't overlook the importance of Captain Ntsako Mkhari. Ntsako Mkhari has been nursing an injury, but has worked his way, or close to fitness, has worked his way back to fitness to be able to feature at this World Cup. Also just speaks of how important he is and his leadership. You look at the likes of Eben Etzebeth, who is on over 100 caps and will probably also just go on to be the most capped Springbok. He's also in the squad and he'll also be important. But there's also the youth in terms of a Grant Williams at scrum half. The Springboks are going into the World Cup with 4 scrum halves, and well, they are the only team that is doing that from the teams that have been announced. The only team that is doing that. So very, very important. And this team, Cindy, is hoping to do it once again. I remember Director of Rugby, Rassie Rasmus, after it was won in 2019, and said that this may not change the problems that South Africa has, but the hope that it has given to the country. He just hopes that South Africa can kick on from that and take it into other avenues and take it into politics and take it into education, just how the country was united in that year, in 2019, behind the Springboks. He was just hoping that we can actually just take that forward, and they are hoping to do it again. Do they have the depth to do it? Yes, they do. Do they have the flair to do it? Yes, they do. Can they do it again, Cindy? I believe that they can, and so do the hundreds of people who are gathered here.
Totally, Ntsako. I think that sentiment echoes and permeates around society, or South Africans, in our hearts, in our blood. We are certainly behind Amaboka Boka and certainly wish them well. But of course, the strategy really should be getting in there aggressively, scores many tries, conversions, etc., so that you lead the pack from the get-go and you set your the tone for the rest of the World Cup. But we're going to leave it there, Ntsako. Really appreciate it. That is eNCA sports reporter Ntsako Mkhari out at the OR Tambo International Airport, where the Springboks are expected on stage to address the millions and thousands of people who are out at OR Tia.